Welcome back in. We got the Yule log is now burning down. It's really a nice mishmash of CVS store-bought Christmas cheer. Hey, it cost me $25 whole, so actually it's part of our kitschy fun. Guys, there was something I got tired of hearing this fall. I want to know if you guys agree or disagree, or sort of agree, sort of disagree. Once Tennessee started having troubles to where they couldn't line up and blow somebody off the line, there came this chorus. You can't run the spread offense in the SEC. You can't run the football out of the spread. Give us a fullback and go back to the I formation and punch him in the mouth. A lot of that came from ex-offensive linemen who love nothing more than to get their hands in the dirt and do that. But I just don't buy it. And I want to show something here on the YP board. These are the top 15 rushing attacks in America going into yesterday's games. All right. Looking down that first columns 1 through 5, Army, Ohio State, you'll see Army has the pure old triple option, we know. Ohio State, that's spread zone read, same stuff that Tim Tebow ran. Navy, triple option. Northern Illinois, their zone read, but they do a lot of it out of the pistol formation. So that's sort of like UT, but the pistol makes it a little different. Auburn, we know what they do, spread zone read. There's the different variation in that it's kind of a triple option with the pass being the triple option, but still. Georgia Tech, old-fashioned triple option. New Mexico is an option team and pistol team. Wisconsin, Gary Anderson got there from Utah State this year. He took zone read with him, but it's still a mix of pro style and zone read. Oregon, spread zone read. BYU, adapted to spread zone read. Baylor, same thing, but they pass a lot out of theirs. Arizona, that's Rich Rodriguez. He was really the master of this stuff. Air Force, triple option. Then Washington and Oklahoma this year, mixed in zone read with their pro set. That's the top 15 rushing attacks in the country. I see a lot of zone read written up there and a lot of spread. I just don't think that you can say carte blanche, well, you can't run out of it.
I thought Florida dispelled that myth with 2 national championships when they had Tebow and Urban Meyer got there. Obviously, you can run out of it. Now, some people are more committed to it than others on that offense. The ones that want the fullback, if you're going to run LSU's pro style, if you're going to run Alabama's pro style, you need a fullback. You don't have to have one in a zone read. Teams have proven it over and over.
Auburn's got a guy that
How many yards did Auburn rush for last night against Missouri? 500-something yards.
They took Missouri from number 2 in the SEC against rush defense to number 9 in one game. They went from number 2 to number 9 from the stat I heard last night. Yeah, I agree. Bob, your thoughts?
My thoughts on this is, one, if you run out of the eye, you really got to have a top-notch tailback. I mean, I think that you can get by with a lesser running back running out of the spread, running the zone read stuff. Number 2, you said you thought Florida dispelled the myth, and I did too. I thought that when Florida had Tim Tebow that, okay, we're beyond this stuff. If anybody woke up this morning that watched that game yesterday and they're still thinking that, then don't listen to them when they talk about football to you, because they know nothing. And I think it comes down to 2 things. One, what works best for your personnel. If you've got our personnel, okay, you're stupid to try to stick them into the spread. I think Butch Jones this year had to do a little bit of taking guys and wedging them into this offense. I think you'll see it work better when they get their guys, a la Gus Malzahn goes home to Auburn, and he's already got his guys to run his offense.
I'll say that I'm not a fan of the spread personally. I don't like lining up in the shotgun at your own goal line. I don't like lining up in the shotgun when it's 3rd and 1 or at the other team's goal line. That is not my thing. I don't like that. But the idea, even though I'm not a fan of the spread, you can't sit there and say you can't run out of it. Also, there's talk that you have to have a spectacular quarterback. Got to have a Tim Tebow to make it work. Well, those are 15 teams up there, and I don't know who the quarterback at BYU is, but apparently they can make it work pretty good. Let me show you Baylor. Baylor is a perfect example. Look here. 3 different quarterbacks the last 3 years. Robert Griffin III ran for 700 yards, but they throw out of that thing. 4,200 yards passing for RG3. People forget, only 700 yards rushing. In 2012, Nick Florence, 568 yards. It's not like he's rushing for 1,000 yards, 4,300 passing. Bryce Petty, then this year, they don't run it that much. They pass the thing. That's after yesterday's stats included. They just don't run that much with Bryce Petty. You look at Dobbs' number, though. You take his rushing total over 4.5 games, push it over a 12-game season, 500 yards. So if you put it over a 13-game season like some of these guys had, you'd be looking at about 550 yards. Now, can he throw for 4,000 in this system? That's a different beast. But the point is, I don't think you have to have, you got to have a running quarterback who can do that. You can win if your coaches are good. You can win with any kind of quarterback.
Right.
in the right. I mean, I just think that there's too much put on the system and not the talent. You take Alabama, as we discussed earlier with Auburn. You take Nick Saban's team, give it to Butch Jones. Take Butch Jones' roster, give it to Nick Saban this year. Nick Saban's the one that's getting a lot of questions asked of him, and Butch Jones is the one that's playing in a big bowl game, I think.
Well,
agree.
I think your quarterback has to be able to do one or the other really well.
Yes,
whether
well,
it's throw
certainly.
or pass.
But that's true in
He
just
does-
about any
yeah,
system.
he does, right. To be effective, he doesn't have to be great at both. But I'm impressed. Now you said you don't like the zone.
I'm not a
read
big
stuff.
fan of it.
I am, except on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, but
Right.
everything else about it I like. That's the only thing I don't like about it, because obviously it's been very effective
Mm-hmm.
with Auburn, with Cam Newton, with Nick Marshall, and with Tebow at Florida, and other teams too.
I prefer more of a pro style. If you're gonna spread it out, I like a spread passing game. What do you think, Bob? You want
I
those?
think that one benefit of all the spread stuff and everything, you can get by a little bit with lesser offensive linemen. I think if you've got really, really good offensive linemen and a good tailback, yeah, go ahead and run the eye. I think it's a fine offense, and obviously a lot of people won a lot of games with it. But if you've got lesser offensive linemen, this makes it a little easier on them.
And what do you think this year about the offensive line in Tennessee, which is supposed to be great and didn't do well?
Well, I'm just, I go back to
They've never
these
leaked.
guys are overrated. I mean, it's 3 years, and they never have performed up to what everybody thought they would do.
Right, and they put up big yards this year, but I don't think anyone ever felt comfortable. Yep, they're going to line up and just run this right down somebody's
And I
throat.
think for all 3 years, they've been a much better pass blocking team than they have been a run blocking.
I think they were. I liked them more than y'all did. I thought they were better than y'all did, as far as what they did. But I also wonder, would they have been better if they had been run blockers in an I formation instead of a zone read? I have wondered that.
Okay.
But they didn't. They never really committed to the run under Chaney.
Right.
And
Yeah, that was all change of pace yards they gained last
yeah,
year.
and so this year they got 2,200. So yeah, that's the best rushing total since '04 that Tennessee had. It's still not the dominating performance you would wanted to see. I get that, but they still produced 1,100-yard rusher.
When we come back, we're going to quickly run through some things we showed you 365 days ago today on our show, something we talked about. We'll discuss when we come back, the talent cliff that Tennessee just went over. Come on back.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television.